All right, I'm live. Clearly this is working right now. Um, the fuck am I? How the? Hold on. Can I go live on this for 30 days? I've never tested the limits of this one. I've been on StreamYard for up to 12 hours, but I'll be honest with you, this is going to be hard as hell. Oh, wait. This ain't going to be all I need 6 overkill. Uh, uh, there we go. So once I get off of this, I'm going to test the quality, make sure. I'm going to be in and out like all day, guys. I'm not. Uh, Once I pick up my son, I got to cut the live stream. Something I'm not going to be doing on the 30-day one. So there's that. I thought this was supposed to have more. Yeah, I'll get sued for that one. Might get shut off for that one. I don't know. Then I've got Blink. Yeah, I'm not hacked. I actually did put escaped mental. But you know what? Fuck y'all, because everybody thinks I'm escaped mental patient. Yeah. Joanne closing 112 stores on Monday. Wow. Let me fix my dash cam. Y'all remember that video? So he'll still have a 442. It'll just be what? Wow. All right, sorry that I had to click off on y'all for a moment. So apparently, the chancellor of schools in Connecticut for like colleges makes over $500,000 a year. Or not over $500,000 a year. For over 400,000 a year, damn near $500,000 a year because it's 450,000. And I'll be honest with you, that's way too much for any college administrator to make. That I'm not against accruing wealth. I am against accruing wealth at taxpayer expense. And yeah, that's accruing wealth at taxpayer expense. You're telling me that man can't sit, even giving him a state vehicle would be a savings. But nah, the chancellor of the fucking colleges, nah, I need my car service and my private chauffeur. You know the man don't even live in Connecticut. We're literally paying on top of that $450,000 a year salary, you know, that we have to raise tuitions for in Connecticut. Let's talk about that real quick. Why the fuck does this man need a personal vehicle or like a personal livery service to pick him up in New York so that he can commute to Connecticut? If you're not willing to move to Connecticut for the job, then you should have to be responsible for your own transportation like most other people are. Why is it that here's the thing. If United Healthcare provides a car service, whatever, that is a private entity, okay? But this is a taxpayer funded fucking job. Like, you're telling me that taxpayers are paying you damn near $500,000, and on top of that, you can even drive yourself to work? The fuck kind of. And then Ned Lamont's really standing by this guy. Come on, yo. Why does he stand with some of the most trash people? He's got some real good people on his side, right? And then some people, I need to know what benefits him from fucking getting crucified for this college administrator that anyone could be. What has he done to sit there and improve conditions in any of the community colleges in Connecticut? Like, let's be fucking real. This man doesn't deserve the pay that he's getting. And on top of not deserving the pay that he's getting, all these bonuses? Come on. Now, I understand the governor getting a taxpayer funded house. I need to know what other chancellor or ombudsman are getting these. The college administrator salary is basically the same amount as the budget for the entire ombudsman's office. That's fucking embarrassing. So the ombudsman's office is there it's basically saving taxpayers money, right? Because fucking the ombudsman comes in and says, nah, y'all can't do this shit. Come on, y'all need to improve conditions before we have to pay another multi-million-dollar lawsuit, right? Because Connecticut's good for racking up lawsuits. We're not going to change shit. We would rather just sit there and have you sue us. That's the only way people get shit done in Connecticut. You have to sue them. Sheff versus O'Neill, you had to fucking sue them, and even then, they're still not doing stuff right. But this college administrator, come on, Ned. Come on, Ned. I really think it's a bad look for him, especially because we're going into a tougher election, and even if he doesn't plan on running again, he needs to put Democrats in a position to win, and the best way to do that is to move left. So in most of the purple districts in Connecticut, the reason that Democrats won, despite a statewide shift right, is not because they were moderates. It's because they were progressive. And people said, oh, we want them guys. We want the progressive people. All right? So at the end of the fucking day, people just want the opportunity to, what the fuck are you doing? People just want the opportunity to work and support their families and do everything else, open businesses. A real big problem is that we've gotten away from small businesses, and instead we're talking about employment. Fucking employment. And that's especially bothersome when you talk about the Black or brown community and cannabis. And the reason is because the Black and brown community does have the opportunity for ownership, as long as you partner with a rich white guy. And there can't be too many of us either. We need about Oprah level rates of success. What does that mean? That means the opportunity for a Black or brown person to make it in Connecticut should be as rare as fucking Oprah making it as a billionaire. And then it's like, oh, but they've got to follow the law. The law is bullshit. And at the end of the day, Connecticut laws are absolute bullshit. And if they weren't bullshit, why the fuck are we handing out pardons retroactively? Why are we saying the law was wrong then? The law is wrong now. All right? The law was wrong back then, and the law is still wrong now. We cannot argue those facts. So to sit there and double down on enforcement because that's the law, that's some white people shit. Let's be fucking real. It's like, oh, we understand that we ripped apart fucking communities and, we put thousands of people in jail at taxpayer expense and broke apart families. But that's because they didn't follow the law, right? And then when we sit there and we reflect upon the fact that the law was wrong back then we're not doing anything to fix the laws now. Instead, I don't know what to do. I've got to sit there and whatever. It's like, my son is a 17-year-old Black male. This is the exact demographic that your looking to protect. A Hi, son. Sorry, I'm talking about you, but yeah, put your people on. So the demographic that lawmakers are looking to protect are Black males, especially Black and brown teenagers in alliance districts, which are all our lowest income districts and most densely populated. And basically, what you're saying is that to protect Black and brown teenagers, we must throw Black and brown men in jail. That is exactly the logic that Joe Biden and Democrats had back in 94. And then we talk so much about criminalization and everything else. Why is it that Democrats always give Republicans the keys to the kingdom? There have been no police departments defunded. Police budgets keep going up, and educational budgets struggle. So, and this is under Democratic rule, right? Because Democrats wanted to prove they were tough on crime. And yet, what really bothers me is the fact that then afterwards you're like, oh, the Republicans are going to be authoritarians. But who created the pathway and the policies for them to become authoritarians, for them to do what they're doing to Black and brown people via over policing? Democrats. Because who wants to invest in housing when you can sit there and you can give a fucking cop a tank? Why the fuck does HPD need a tank? When have they used that? Do they need multiple tanks? Like, I need to know how often they use the fucking tank when it's not a recruitment event. And if so, why are they bringing that tank out for anything that isn't a SWAT raid? Like, what the fuck are you supposed to do with the tank? Nothing? Look intimidating during hostage negotiations? I don't fucking know. You're not going to sit there and blow the building up using the fucking tank, so... There is so much waste and fraud. So, and the thing is, though, what really grinds my gears. So, not Ned Lamont, he's got to sit there and deal with his other issues, but William Tong used to be a state rep who prided himself on defeating decriminalization of cannabis. So, William Tong defeating the decriminalization of cannabis, but saying he's a friend to the Black and brown community. How? You're still covering up murders in DOC. So, but here's the thing. He's fighting to cover up those murders for Black men because rest in peace, Robbie Talbot, his mother got justice, but he was a white man. And William Tong declined to continue to defend the state of Connecticut. Robbie Talbot died in 2019. J. Allen Jones died in 2018. Right? Robbie Talbot's case was settled in 2023. The state of Connecticut is still fighting against the estate of J. Allen Jones because they don't want to settle with him. And while Robbie Talbot was absolutely horrifying, and the state should have paid that money, should have paid at least triple the money to the family. What bothers me is that J. Allen Jones has not received that same relief. And instead, the state of Connecticut continues to fight a Black family who they thought would have limited resources. Because the suburban white guy, he couldn't get the mental help he needed that he begged for before going to prison. But William Tong said, nah, we're going to drop that case. But then afterwards, for a Black man who was also mentally ill, who was having his second schizophrenic break and didn't know that schizophrenia ran in his family, someone who was willing to get the mental help, he was being transferred over to something called BOS status. And this is the part that fucking bothers me, right? So what BOS status is behavioral observation status. That is when they move you to whatchamacallit, they move you to SEG, the restricted housing unit. So J. Allen Jones was okay going there, had a medical evaluation. He wasn't being transferred for anything. So behavioral observation status, they're now going to put this man naked in something called a Ferguson gown. So He's still cool with it. He's fine. And then afterwards, here's where the problem starts. So Garner has a very invasive strip search method that are not used in other DOC facilities. And he said, man, I'm just tired. Like, can't y'all just leave me alone? And they ended up, I think he died from asphyxiation. His neck was also broken. And what else? They maced him. They put a bag over his head. They didn't decontaminate him at all. And the thing is, though, DOC doesn't decontaminate after they pepper spray you at all. They claim they do. They're supposed to wash you out for a full 15 minutes, as per my conversations with several wardens, and they have not. They're supposed to videotape you. Now, what they said was that Connecticut DOC shouldn't be required to release the video at all, even partially. Meaning no movement within the facility. They said because it would jeopardize safety. Now, here's the thing. So all building plans in the state of Connecticut are public. You can actually go to any local city hall and get the building plans for anything. Why the fuck do you need a video to tell you where anything in the prison is? You can't, if you haven't been inside of the prison, you don't know what's being filmed. That's an absolute crock of shit. And then on top of that, why the fuck does it matter if anyone knows that there's like a that the nurses station is in the center of the facility? Who the fuck is El Chapo? Like, are they gonna sit there and say, yo, helicopter's gonna be there at 3 p.m. Go to the nurses station at 3 p.m. and we'll come get. Nope. If you have access to some shit like that, one, maybe you deserve to escape, and two, maybe you shouldn't be in a Connecticut correctional facility. All right, like that's some Fed shit. That's definitely not DOC shit. So, I mean, let's call it that's some BOP shit. All right, so board of whatever the fuck it is, federal. But yeah, so this is what William Tong is currently defending along with the war on drugs, because it wasn't enough for him that for possession of cannabis to get a ticket, he still wanted people going to jail when he was a state rep. He's still defending tooth and nail the murder of J. Allen Jones and several other black men. But he dropped it for a white man, and that's the shit that gets me. If he was a equal opportunity piece of shit across the board, I would not complain, but he's not. If you can drop it, if you can drop the defense of the murder of an incarcerated person because he's a white man, you can do it for the black and brown people who have died. Rather than seeking to fucking and then on top of that, let's talk about William Tong's trip to Maryland on the taxpayer fucking dime. When is he going to reimburse us for that? Why is he sitting there advocating for shit to the point where he's able to fly on the taxpayer dime to Maryland? I don't think that's ethical use of money at all, especially during a budget crisis. We're sitting here barely able to fund education, and William Tong gets an all-expense-paid trip to fucking Maryland for an anti-legalization group. The man that's supposed to be regulating cannabis is accepting awards from an anti-legalization group on the taxpayer dime, and he's doing it out of state. He's not even driving. He flew out to fucking Maryland, drove out to Maryland, taxpayer dime. Absolutely disgusting. I can't. After I drop Jamie off, I'm on my way to get an oil change because I'm going to cut the live in a minute. But yeah, I'm absolutely sick of the state of Connecticut. And I'll be honest with you. If I had to predict right now what the election would be, Ned Lamont and Aaron Stewart, I can't call it. I can't. But I'll be honest with you. Despite the fact that Aaron Stewart has shitty policies, if the Democrats don't move left And the thing is, though, she's very progressive on some things, very shitty policy for others. Will flat fund education to the point where you thought Hartford was bad. Now you got to remember, New Britain leads the district. Like, they're the worst school district in the fucking state. So let's bring that statewide now. Feel me? But Ned Lamont's making it very difficult for any Democrat to win an election if he doesn't vote left. Like, look at Nick Menapace. He's doing so good, right? Purple District, ran on progressive policies. He won. D'Agostino, there was a primary. Two left people were running, and thankfully Lori Sweet won. Is that a purple district? Not really. But please remember that Michael D'Agostino was previously in that seat, and he was pretty moderate. So people who didn't run, basically Democrats who didn't run on progressive policies in purple districts lost. Find an example where they didn't lose. If you didn't run on progressive policies in a purple district, you weren't winning. That's not, damn, I can't tell y'all who I had the conversation with, but they fuck. But I will talk to y'all later. It's a cop. I'll talk to y'all later. Also look out for a couple articles coming out on cannabis legalization, and specifically the treatment of the war on drugs and Black and brown people by the state of Connecticut, and William Tong's policies, because the featured headline is going to be how William Tong is warring on Black and brown people. And this isn't an article I'm writing. It's just an article that's going to be written. I just happened to get interviewed, and then afterwards I gathered a whole bunch of people and got reporters their phone numbers. I'm absolutely sick of it. Then afterwards, you want to sit there and fearmonger about fentanyl. How many family members y'all think I lost from fentanyl? Do you know what it's like to be happy right now that one of my fucking family members is in prison because they don't have access to that shit? Do you know how fucking hurtful that feels? And you want to sit there and talk to me about fentanyl or raising kids? I could, like, William Tong absolutely aggravated the fuck out of me on Overdose Awareness Day a couple years ago, 2022 actually. He kept talking about how he made it difficult for the Sacklers. Okay. I'll keep my hands on the steering wheel, thank you. So he kept talking about how the Sacklers were going to go out of business, and how there were these really strong financial penalties, right? My entire issue with all of that is, oh shit, my sound wasn't on, was it? My sound wasn't on. Now it's on. I've been talking shit for the entire time and nobody fucking commented. How many of y'all high watching me? I don't know, man. But yeah, the news story about William Tong is going to come out, and how I feel about his war on Black and brown people. If I've been mute this entire time, holy shit, I'm still working out the kinks, and that's why this is a test stream. But I'm very mad about everything going on with William Tong for when it comes to cannabis legalization and J. Allen Jones. He is not a friend to the Black and brown community. Despite not saying the N-word isn't enough. Saying Black Lives Matter isn't enough. Policies that align with you thinking that Black Lives Matter is enough. Saying that you want to protect people against fentanyl isn't enough. Working to find the sources of fentanyl and leave cannabis the fuck alone is how you prove Black Lives Matter. Um, saying that you're trying to protect the kids. Please don't put Black men in jail for my son, who is a future Black male. So he's going off to college. So, you wouldn't catch him in one of these places. But even if you did, what the fuck does it matter? So I'll talk to y'all later. I got to see how this live stream came out, and y'all have a good one. I'm gonna go live during my oil change. Talk to y'all later.